What is up, guys? It's Cal, and in this video we're going to be talking about wood. Okay, that's kind of weird. Not just any wood, but Decor wood, the new wood cutting feature in housing Decor that's required for you to craft Decor pieces. If you don't know what I'm talking about, in the town center of Founders Point or Razorwind Shores, there's an NPC there that gives you a quest that gives you an axe to be able to chop down wood, which is used in Decor pieces. Activating the axe in your inventory will show choppable trees in your area. Every expansion has its own style of wood. Classic is called Ironwood Lumber, Northrend is Coldwood Lumber, Dragon Isles is Dragon Pine Lumber, so on and so forth. And this is used to craft the Decor pieces from the expansions. So I'm going to show you all the best places to farm all of this wood if you want to craft every Decor piece. And all this wood is warbound, by the way, so feel free to farm it on alts and mail it around. At the end, I'm going to tally up how much wood it takes for you to craft every Decor piece as of right now, because housing is in early access. Midnight is not out yet. I'm sure more pieces will come in the expansion. But anyways, let's get started. Starting off with vanilla zones. You obviously have a lot of zones to choose from, but the smaller, the better. The smaller the wood, the better. That made no sense. That was funnier in my head. Anyways, the smaller the zone, the better is what I mean. As long as there aren't just a lot of people farming. So after doing a bunch of theory crafting and farming a bunch of different zones, I've come to the conclusion that Moonglade is the best zone to farm this lumber in. It's a small zone, dare I say. The smallest, maybe, I think. I always think of Moonglade as like the Vatican City of World of Warcraft, almost like it's a country. It is the importance of a country with its significance to like druids in the Emerald Dream, but it's also the smallest zone in Azeroth. So after 10 minutes of farming, I gathered 47 pieces of ironwood lumber. Now for comparison, I farmed in Elwyn Forest for about 10 minutes and received 35 pieces of lumber. So here's a map on the screen of all the lumber I gathered over that 10-minute period. It should be obvious what your routing should be. Just stay away from Nighthaven and the giant body of water in the center, and you're good. Burning Crusade, there's actually a few good farming spots here. I went around to each outland zone, and Zangarmarsh was the best zone for me to get Olemba lumber. After 10 minutes, I got 44 pieces of lumber. Just stay away from the small towns, pretty much. Wood doesn't grow in quest hubs, and obviously stay away from the large bodies of water, and you're good. I did the same 10 minutes in Terrakar and got 37 pieces of lumber, and did the same in Nagran and got 36. Now there's another good farming spot if you don't feel like flying around Zangarmarsh, and that is Echo Dome Midrealm in the dead center of Netherstorm. After 10 minutes I got 40 pieces of lumber, so it's a little less than Zangarmarsh, but it's a much smaller area if you're into that. Northrend, the best farming spot in my opinion is Crystal Song Forest. It's the easiest to get to because it's just right below Dalaran, and once again, the smallest zone of Northrend. Also, I decided to swap to my Druid from here on out because Flight Form makes this go so much faster and smoother since you don't have to dismount when you wood chop. This was also the first zone where I ran into some competition of other people farming, so it may have messed with my numbers a little bit, but after 10 minutes I got 45 pieces of Coldwood lumber. So it's not bad. For Cataclysm zones, the best spot I found was Hyjal, because after farming for 10 minutes, I got a whopping 56 pieces of Ashwood lumber, the most so far. And looking at the map, you can see there's really one area I stayed around because that's all I needed. If you farm lumber in a large zone like Hyjal, there's no reason to go around the whole zone, just pick one small area and camp around it. The wood respawns pretty fast. Now Hyjal has one drawback to it, and that's that it can be pain with phasing. There was an occasion where I saw a piece of wood on my map, flew up to it, and it phased right out in front of me. I knew it was phasing because all the mobs around it phased out of existence. So if Hyjal is an issue for you at all, you can take a trip to Oldham. Just make sure to talk to Zadormi and Ramgahen so you can actually see the nodes. But after 10 minutes here, I also got 56 pieces of Ashwood lumber. However, I got pretty lucky here getting 2 and even 3 pieces of lumber at a time from a bunch of the nodes. But nevertheless, it's still a good place to farm. Just stick to the greenery around the river. Mists of Pandaria. You'd think that Jade Forest would be the best place to farm lumber. I mean, forest is in the name. Nope. I actually did get 48 pieces of bamboo lumber from there after 10 minutes, so it really isn't that bad. But even better is Kunlai Summit. Pretty much every dead tree in the zone has lumber on it. So this was actually when I realized that just because a zone is very woodsy, it doesn't mean it has a lot of lumber nodes. In fact, I think that works against it. Now after 10 minutes here, I got 51 pieces of bamboo lumber. But even better than here is Veil of Eternal Blossoms. Just make sure you aren't in the version that's corrupted by N'Zoth by speaking to Zadormi above Mogashan Palace. After 10 minutes here, I got 53 pieces of bamboo lumber. But even better than here is the Dread Wastes. And I only stuck to the top right of the zone. After 10 minutes here, I got 57 pieces of bamboo lumber, making this, in my opinion, the best farming spot in Pandaria. Now, unfortunately, as of recording this video, you cannot farm wood in Draenor yet. There are no nodes at all, so the only way to get Shadow Moon lumber is to speak with the lumberjack at your town center and trade 5 Olemba lumber, which is what you get from Burning Crusade, with 5 Shadow Moon lumber. Now for Legion zones. I found my best luck with High Mountain. For some reason my add-on wasn't working here that shows where I chopped wood, but that doesn't matter much because there wasn't really a method to my madness. I kind of just flew around and gathered 51 pieces of fell touch lumber over a 10-minute period. A Northern Ajuna is actually pretty good as well if you aren't having much luck with High Mountain. Battle for Azeroth was pretty straightforward. The best zone I found dark pine lumber in was Nazmir, and specifically South Nazmir. I just flew around from the entrance to Zuldazar to where Underrot is. I pretty much just flew around that one horde encampment there. I think it's called like Zoljan, something like that. But I got 59 pieces of dark pine lumber after 10 minutes. Now, alternatively, I found the same luck in Southern Tiergard Sound. Yeah, just flying around the South Island here, I was able to net 58 pieces of dark pine lumber after 10 minutes. So both are pretty much the same. And then for Shadowlands, blah. Surprise, surprise, none of the zones in Shadowlands have very good yield of wood. Trash farming spots for a trash expansion. But the zone I found the most success in was Revendreth actually. After 10 minutes, I got 36 ardent wood. That's it. Maldraxxus and Bastion had some of the worst yields I've seen yet of any zone, and Ardwild wasn't that great either. I think I got like 31 pieces of lumber, something like that, but yeah. For the Dragon Isles, Amir Drazil was actually the zone that gave me the best yield of Dragon Pine lumber, at 56 pieces of lumber after 10 minutes. But even with that, I had very bad RNG when it came to getting 2 or 3 pieces of lumber from a node because I got almost none of that. So if I had that same luck with how much lumber I was getting per node from previous expansions, this would have at least got 60 or 65 easily, making it probably the best farming spot on the list. But we do have one expansion left. And then finally for the War Within. It's really between 2 zones as to which was the better farming spot, and that was between the Isle of Dorn and Ashkahet. Also keep in mind that in the War Within zones, you kind of have an added obstacle with all of the mobs around you being the same level as you, therefore more likely to aggro and slow you down. Of course, if you're watching this in a future expansion, that will be pretty irrelevant, but anyways, in the Isle of Dorn, I stuck closer to the south end because those trees had less mobs around them. Then on Ashkahet, I stuck more to the rightish side, but ultimately, it was the Isle of Dorn which gave me a greater yield of Dornic fir lumber at 49 after 10 minutes. Ashkahet wasn't far behind at 46 after 10 minutes. And that's it, all of the best farm spots that I could find after hours of gathering. Some tips and tricks now that I farmed all over the world of Warcraft. Use a druid if you have one, it makes it faster not having to dismount. More woodsy zones does not mean more wood. Smaller zones are typically better unless there's a lot of people, of course. And if farming in a big zone, find one section to farm in and stick to that section. There's no need to fly all around the zone. Now as for the total amount of wood required to make all the housing decor pieces, you have the Vanilla Wood Ironwood lumber requiring 506 pieces, Burning Crusade Olemba lumber 512, Wrath of the Lich King Coldwood lumber 465, Cataclysm Ashwood lumber 451, Mists of Pandaria Bamboo lumber 526, Warlords of Draenor Shadow Moon lumber 451, Legion Fell Touched lumber 594. Battle for Azeroth is Dark Pine lumber 476, Shadowlands Arden lumber 532, Dragonflight Dragon Pine lumber 654, and then the War Within Dornic fir lumber 559. A lot of lumber, but I'm gonna be real, some of the lumber requirements for these profession decor pieces are a bit ridiculous, because why would you need 30 pieces of wood to create a rug? Let's be real. I made multiple videos on all of the housing decor profession pieces, so feel free to check those. As of recording this video, housing is still in early access, so I'm sure when midnight comes out, there will be plenty more. But anyways guys, that's the entire video for the best farm spots for lumber. If you found any useful spots, leave it in the comments below. Leave a like on this video, it helps a lot. Sub to the channel for more videos like this, and I will see you all in the next video.